Cultural competence is very important in the workplace. We do have in New Jersey a law against discrimination, and because we have the Crown Act here in New Jersey, that is a part of it. The workplace has to adjust. And again, this goes to this question, this concern about cultural competence and ensuring that all supervisors, all co-workers, everyone in the workplace understands that they cannot discriminate against someone because of the way in which they choose to wear their hair.
It's more important to be respected than accepted. People have to understand respecting culture, respecting people for who they are. And whether you accept it or not, that's on you. I grew up in the 70s and the 80s, and I had an afro. Okay. And I remember kids making fun of me, asking me, how do you comb your hair? How do you wash your hair? As if I was an alien or something, and I remember how uncomfortable that made me feel. It becomes very difficult because, this is what you represent, this is who you are, this is your true essence. So it's not something that you should be apologizing for. It's something that you should stand proud and loud about and be who you are.
I would suggest for them not to let that experience diminish them in any way. Discrimination, it's rooted, sadly, in historical nonsense, but it's not a personal failing. It's more of a systemic one. And so that's the whole point behind the Crown Act, right? We could choose how we want our hair to look. We don't have to choose between our culture and our career or between our identity and our education.
I think advocacy is very important. I think being able to stand firm in your belief and in the law that you have a right to be able to express yourself culturally. Advocate for your right. This is now part of the state statute. Embrace your culture, but learn, the aspects of your culture. Having a firm understanding of where you come from will have an impact on where you may go in the future. Be well-rounded, be well-rooted, have some sort of anchor to yourself so that when you come upon the hard times, you'll have a base, an anchor, a frame of reference.
We should all be proud as Americans of our traditions, whether, no matter where one is from. And to express that publicly shows that you are proud of where you come from. I think it's really important to embrace one's cultural identity. Sometimes that works itself out in the way one adorns oneself, in the way in which one maybe would style one's hair. And, it really would be up to others to look a little bit more at history and look at cultural traditions to understand why.
You could go all your life and not realize you've denied yourself the entire time, because you're just meeting whatever society says you gotta meet, or you're trying to look the way society wants you to look. And I remember going to South Africa and I experienced native South Africans denying their heritage and who they are. And I've heard them say this, that, that's something of the past. This is what we are, this is who we are. And no, the past is you. We are our ancestors' wildest dreams.
Well, I'll start here, right? I always say, your hair is your crown, right? And so you're born with your hair, you're born with your crown, and you're worthy of wearing it. So that's where I start. As far as the workplace, people need to understand that hair carries history as well, right? So it carries resilience, it carries artistry, right? People do different colors and get jazzy with things. But most importantly, it's a representation of your ancestral heritage. And so that's not something that anybody has the right to delegate or to dictate on how you use it. And so I would tell them to use that experience as something to fuel them, right? To drive them to understand that, those biases are not valid at all. And they deserve to be in every room, at every boardroom, at every table, and to wear their naturalness with pride.